It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Man, Thanksgiving week, and we already got a lot to talk about. The FCS playoffs have been announced. Alabama State wins another volleyball title. Turkey Day Bowl between Alabama State and Prairie View, and of course the Bayou Classic. The winner determines who will face Alcorn in the SWAC championship. A lot to discuss on today, and a short time to get there, so we might as well jump right into today's episode. Well, the Panthers fell short to Alabama State on yesterday in the SWAC volleyball championship held in Itta Bena, Mississippi, on the campus of Mississippi Valley. Panthers, the number 2 seed coming into the tournament, phenomenal, strong year for the Panthers under the leadership of Coach Tacho Tyler. Fell short after beating Jackson State in the semifinals. Panthers got swept by Alabama State 25-15, 25-20, and 25-20, which brings an end to the year for the Panthers. But as we mentioned, a successful season. Technically, they finished second in regular season, and I guess second in the tournament, being that they lost to Alabama State. For those of you who may have missed our live show on Sunday evening, you can go back and check out the Sports Report Live and get a chance to hear Coach Penny Lucas White talk about the resiliency of a program. Overcoming a lot of adversity this season, they came as the number 5 seed, and they were able to weather the storm to get past the Panthers. So congratulations to both programs. Hopefully the Panthers on the start of something long-term as far as being in the upper echelon of the Southwestern Athletic Conference when it comes to the volleyball program. Of course, as we mentioned, Prairie View will be in Montgomery, Alabama this week to face off against Alabama State in the annual Turkey Day Bowl that Alabama State has been involved with for quite some time now. Panthers in the midst of adjusting, fine-tuning the program. There was the release of former offensive line coach Ashton Green a couple of weeks ago, and the rumors are stirring up that other moves have been made. They just have not been announced publicly yet. So we'll see what all of that brings in. Meanwhile, the Panthers are trying to figure a way to end the season with a 6-5 record. It would be a game improvement for Coach Dooley and staff from last season. They went 5-6 in the inaugural season of the spot the ball era, and it would be a game upgrade. Although there are a lot of PV fans who are saying not so fast. They're not necessarily keen on the likes of Edward Waters and Virginia Lynchburg being on the schedule in the same year. But it is what it is. 6-5 is 6-5. It beats going 5-6. So we'll see how that holds out for the Panthers. The last hurrah for Dewanye Tucker, Jalen Morton, just to name a few of the seniors for the Panthers. Hopefully the Panthers will finish strong and get a chance to end on a high note. And speaking of ending on a high note, the Bayou Classic is scheduled for Saturday. The winner will take on Alcorn. Alcorn handled Jackson State with ease. Final score 41-6 over the weekend. Alcorn begins to nestle in, get their film together for either Southern or Grambling. We had Charles Edmond on the Sunday Night Live show, the Sports Report Live. And although Alcorn is on record for stating it doesn't matter who they play, I would think that due to the success rate that Alcorn has had versus Southern over Grambling, that the Braves would prefer to see Southern. Grambling hot going into this Bayou Classic, and Coach Fobbs and company are looking to stay hot. Meanwhile, could it be that Southern could be coming into this game a little bit tight? But what you have to remember, and take a side note in, technically both teams will be coming off of bye weeks. And technically both teams have done extremely well coming off of bye weeks. In particular, Dawson Odoms is some ridiculous record like 12-1, 13-1 coming off of bye weeks. So it'll be very interesting to see how these teams fare come this weekend. And in case you missed the Sports Report Live, Charles Edmond has reported that Noah Johnson is done for the year. The quarterback for Alcorn, who was replaced by, I guess we could call him a phenom, Felix Harper. Noah Johnson is done for the year. And they're going to try and see if he could get a hardship year or a medical year to try and come back what would be year number 6. Tough note to end on for the young man, but the important factor is that he gets that degree and he'll continue his journey in life. We'll see how things unfold for that. And speaking of unfolding, the FCS playoffs were released this past weekend. And of course, there are 24 teams that get selected in this process. And there are going to always be some teams on the outside looking in, crying foul, misdeal, or whatever the terminology would be. But one in particular out of the Missouri Valley Conference, Southern Illinois State, the Salukis, they're crying foul, thinking that they should have been more accepted in the process. Townsend feeling the same way. But of all, how do you think South Carolina State feels? Strong year by Coach Buddy Pugh. 6-2 conference record, 8-3 overall. You beat Wofford, who was in the top 10, and your only losses in your non-conference, they were FCS opponents. So it goes to say, we talk about it like it's not a big deal, but it truly is a big deal. Say what you want to say. The FCS playoffs matter. Yeah, I know we have the Celebration Bowl, and I know in the SWAC you have the championship game, which leads to the Celebration Bowl. But if it really doesn't matter, why do we cry foul when HBCU teams do not receive an at-large bid? I personally think it does matter. And because it matters, as respected conferences amongst your other FCS brethren, we are definitely going to have to consistently upgrade our non-conference schedules. And we've gone over this, and it'll be a conversation piece that will continue to be discussed. But it has to be consistency over a few sporadic years here and there. If you're consistently competitive, consistently having a strong strength of schedule, you then become more relevant at the table. And I'm on record for saying SWAC conference schools, MEAC conference schools, which the MEAC has have a somewhat better track record of non-conference competing. But we're going to have to look at the man in the mirror and get this train back on course. I would love for Prairie View to play for the SWAC championship. I would love for Prairie View to represent the conference in the Celebration Bowl. But I would also love for Prairie View to be in a position to at least be strongly considered for an FCS playoff invitation. Nicholls State, which was an opponent on the Panthers' schedule this past season, will be hosting a first-round FCS playoffs. So I know I'm on record for saying that, hey, we need to schedule some Ohio Valley Conference schools as well as some Southland schools. But if you can strategically find you some good Southland matches and a credible, winnable FBS opponent, and let's say you have a 5-year strategic plan of consistently having that type of schedule, it could lead to potential FCS playoff invitations. Because let's be honest, they all matter to a degree. Yes, one pot is larger than the other, but it's still on a path of determining and qualifying you as a champion. And I don't care what anyone says, everybody should be playing for a championship. We'll see how things unfold. We'd love to hear from you. 713-570-6736. That is our 24-hour message line. Drop us a line. Let us know what you feel, think about this said subject. Of course, with football season winding down, we'll be racking up the hoop talk. Panthers victorious over Wiley this past weekend. We even have some high school basketball lined up. Waller will be hosting Navasota later today. We'll be there to broadcast that game. And a whole lot more. We have, I believe, 18, 19 games left of Waller basketball coverage here at the Upper Mike Broadcast Network. Be sure to check us out right here on the network. Run out of time for today. I'm going to exit stage left. Congratulations to both the Panthers and the Hornets. Hornets will go on to represent the Southwestern Athletic Conference on the volleyball NCAA tournament. More Panther football and news as we lead toward the Thanksgiving Day showdown between Alabama State. I'm going to exit stage left for now. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.